Traitor! I mean, hey, time for some more Star Wars science. The internet has spoken. The coolest character in Star Wars The Force Awakens isn't Rey or Finn or even Poe Dameron. It's this badass stormtrooper right here, commonly known as TR-8R or Traitor. Finally, a stormtrooper that actually knows how to use a weapon, in this case specifically a Z6 riot control baton. It can be used for crowd control and non-lethal attacks and apparently Jedi disposal. So, how does it deflect lightsabers? Kind of like the episode where we figured out why Kylo Ren's lightsaber really works, I want to figure out why the riot baton is so awesome, but like with science. First things first, what is a lightsaber? Geez, we've done a lot of Star Wars stuff. Well, in another episode, I compared the construction of a lightsaber blade to that of a tokamak, which is a fusion device that uses very, very powerful magnetic fields to constrain arcs and blades of plasma. So in effect, what we have, if we look at a lightsaber blade's cross-section, is a blade of plasma here with magnetic force field lines going around it. It's this magnetic field that the riot baton might be able to bounce off. Electricity and magnetism are joined at the hip in physics. An electric field can create a magnetic field and affect it, and vice versa. For example, if we had these magnetic field lines coming out of the screen this way and right into your face, and we introduced an electrically charged particle like an electron and introduced it into this field, its path would experience a Lorentz force and start curving. Round it goes. Where it stops, only science knows. Let's not use that. This force, nice, has some weird consequences too. Let's say we have two arbitrarily long cables that can carry an electric current right here. What happens if they both have electric current running in the same direction? They actually attract each other. Now, what happens if one of the current is flowing in the opposite direction? Then they repel each other. This happens because moving electrical charges create magnetic fields of their own. Here are our two cables again, this time in cross-section, like it's cut in half. When both of the charges are moving towards you guys, their magnetic field lines look like this. When these wires get close enough together so that their field lines interact, these two cancel out, and what you have is a general attractive force between the two wires, kind of like a magnetic rubber band. But if one of the wires is carrying current that goes the opposite direction, one towards you guys and one towards me, the field lines look like this. And when you try to bring these two wires together, the magnetic field lines bunch up in the center, and what you have is a general repulsion between the two wires. And we can prove this too. Look at this neat little science demo from MIT showing how wires can attract and repel each other depending on where the current is flowing. How long do I have to do this until you guys are done watching the video? Let's stay away from force-filled explanations for now, or anything that's already been established in the Star Wars canon like ultrachrome or Mandalorian iron. If it can almost work scientifically, then it can definitely work sci-fi-ientifically. Oh, has anyone thought up that term before? Trademark. All right, so here's how Traitor could have defeated Finn. Surprise lightsaber! Okay, so here we go. Here's my explanation. Kylo Ren and Supreme Leader Snoke are so terrified and obsessed with the Jedi that they start outfitting their stormtroopers with lightsaber-resistant weapons, and we already know that stormtroopers have been trained with lightsaber-resistant weapons from the prequel books that came out before The Force Awakens. Traitor, the stormtrooper Traitor, has a lightsaber-resistant weapon specifically because he's part of the division that's most likely to find a Jedi in the first place, which is Kylo Ren's. And what would it do? Well, blaster weapons are practically useless against Jedi, so they use use lightsaber-resistant weapons to maybe buy some time for other stormtroopers to shoot him in the back or something. Now, when he sees Finn, when Traitor sees Finn, he knows he's not a Force user, and he knows that his weapon is lightsaber-resistant, so he goes ahead and attacks him with some Traitor and stuff. So when the two weapons meet, the current running through the riot blade, the current has been specifically tuned to produce a magnetic field that curves in such a way so that when it meets, there's this repulsion force between the lightsaber's magnetic field that holds his plasma together and the magnetic field that's coming off of the riot baton, and they meet and they repel each other, and then boom, science. Traitor is the new Boba Fett. He's a stormtrooper that's scary and one that actually knows how to use his weapon well. Although the magnetic fields and electric fields in play here would probably have to be so absolutely enormous that they would kill their users, theoretically there is some value at which Traitor's weapon might deflect a lightsaber. Electromagnetism. That's the real Force. Because science. Thanks for watching. Want to know something weird about figs? Natural figs, they have a wasp that lays eggs inside them. The wasp has to enter through a very tiny hole, so tiny in fact that it breaks off its wings and antennae to get inside. And once it's inside, it starts to lay its own eggs, but then it doesn't do anything else. It dies in there. It just stays there and the plant digests it. The larvae eventually hatch and make it out. But the dead carcasses of those mothers are digested by the plant itself, and so if you've ever eaten a fig, you're also eating some wasp jelly. Mmm.